Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to be talking about some PS5 Pro issues. Now, as you guys probably know, we've still been tracking and looking at the console stuff, and I will want to go and say we'll probably mix up our content up pretty soon, as I mentioned in my prior videos. But when there is some pretty big news to go and talk about, especially when it comes to issues, bugs, or even optimization issues, I feel like this is a good video to go talk about because not everything is always going to be perfect when it comes to PlayStation, Xbox, the Switch, and all of that. We've seen layoffs everywhere on Xbox, we've seen some Switch 2 issues, but overall, actually, Switch has been pretty chill, and the PlayStation 5 Pro has been pretty solid. But one thing to go and note is that not every game will be perfect, so let's go discuss that. That one of the more popular games that randomly came out, I barely even knew about this game, is actually having a lot of issues right now on the PS5 Pro, and a few little bits and pieces of news out there, so let's go talk about it. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch down below, and of course, we've also been doing a bunch of random, just random posts in the second YouTube account. If you guys want to watch, you guys can, if not, no worries. And let's go talk about some drama. So there actually is this brand new game that came out, and I'm actually curious first before we dive on into it. I'm going to show you guys some gameplay. It's called Wuchang, and I've seen actually a few people these last few days actually go and play it on Twitch. And I'm going to maybe just go and do a random little review video in the background over here in honor of GamerX, where let me go. That scared me. I was going to give you guys a little bit of quick gameplay showcase, just really quick, so you guys know what we're talking about. And right now, this game has been doing relatively decent, getting a lot of media attention. I've seen many Twitch streamers, and it's kind of like a good lull period right now for games. There's nothing major coming up. It was awkward period, and we had some Death Stranding, good game, good vibes, whatever. But we haven't had a big game come out. So right now is the golden opportunity for many games to just kind of sneak their way on in and maybe get some attention. And this is what this game has been. It's like a Elden Ring, Neo, Souls-like. I mean, you guys can just see from the gameplay. Very just Souls-like. It looks good, though. It truly looks like Elden Ring. Slightly different UI, slightly different characters. It looks like Elden Ring. And this is why it's cool, because new games, new stuff to play, life's all good. But as we've had this game come out now, many PS5 Pro users are now complaining that the game itself is not fully optimized well, the console's not doing the best with it, and the Pro performance is actually below the standards that they were hoping for. Now, this is probably more of a game issue rather than console issue, but it's still something to note, because to have the console issues, you need to have the console itself, and if the console's hard to code with, think how we saw a lot of issues with the PSSR, other AI integrations, and it just was a somewhat convoluted system to make things happen on. Not to, it's not to say it's bad. I like the PS5 Pro. I think it's a good console, but we do have to note that sometimes people get upset with it, and sometimes games are not perfect, and sometimes issues do arise, and it's not the funnest thing to go and note. Now, of course, if you guys have played this on your own consoles, please let me know, and just in your general thoughts. I've seen cool stuff. I've seen some streamers play it. I'm still technically on a medical leave for a little bit longer. Hopefully, we can come back sooner than later. I do want to bump up my videos. We've been talking about that. I want to have some better editing. We want to talk about that. New videos soon. We want to talk about that soon. Soon. It's saying some medical break. I've had a few people mention this really quick insert. It's just some pretty bad TMJ issues for speaking. It just kind of hurts to even make videos. So even me sitting here is in pain. So it's kind of annoying. It's not the best videos to watch. I apologize, but I'll be back and better soon. But either way, you guys can see, the gameplay looks cool, the game looks fun, but this led into a lot more issues too, because people are now calling out the Wuchang game, saying Wuchang is just not looking good on the PS5 Pro. So the issue with this is that the game itself is just not well optimized. It's not pushing a solid 60 FPS that people would be expecting. Saying these are all taken right now in the quality mode, which is supposed to be 60 FPS. Balance is kind of better, but nowhere near steady 60 FPS. So that's a goal. If I want to have a balanced game, rate, format, whatever, I want it to be perfect. I don't want it to be broken. I don't want it to be messed up. I don't want to be lazy. I want it to be a solid 60 FPS or higher, depending on what the game mode is. If I'm going, for performance mode, I'd prefer a higher and consistent. I want to be stable. Stable is a big thing, especially if you're using VRR as well. And it looks like they are using VRR. And if you can have a stable frame rate using VRR, it's the defeats the whole purpose. So they're saying its balance is kind of better, but nowhere near steady 60 FPS. Performance is 77 to 80 FPS pretty much always, but visuals do take a hit. There is also ALSI micro stutters when you're moving around. I don't know, just waiting for a patch to hopefully improve things. Now, don't get me wrong, we can give a lot of leeway for game companies. You know, Silent Hill, when it first came on the PSSR, and they had these integrations, they had like these weird splotches, you know, this shimmering, as we call it a lot. So like we get a free pass, but also we had PlayStation do a lot of updates. And this is where I'm kind of a little bit more on the like rolling my eyes. So I'm not really sure if this is a PlayStation issue. I think inherently it is no matter what, because if PSSR and optimizing your games is an issue, that is kind of like on your development in your console. But also we have to give the devs a lot of blame too as well, because this is fixable. Games like those Avatar games are kind of broken on launch, and they did get updates relatively quickly. Silent Hill got an update relatively quickly. All these game issues that had issues with the PS5 Pro got updates quickly. But this is the first one we've had in a while that seems like it's actually had some problems, and it's not the best. Now, granted, there's also issues, though, on Steam. So, I mean, it may just be more of the game company at this point. Maybe they didn't expect so many people to be playing on the PS5 Pro. Maybe they more focused on the PlayStation side. Who knows, you know? But this is a big issue because their frame rates aren't good. There is still micro stuttering going on, and I would actually probably agree that the performance expectations I don't want for both PC and PlayStation 5 Pro are pretty rough too as well. You guys can see even people on Steam are saying it's very having some problems with it. They didn't even bother optimization. And it stinks, you know, and it stinks because you have to wait for these games to be finished in in patches. You have to wait for the PS5 Pro, PSSR to go make it all work too as well. You know, they're topping it, but like, you know, people are okay with it, you know. People are also complaining Unreal Engine 2 on top of that too, and everyone's been complaining about that as well. That's almost its own separate topic. But I don't like the idea that so many games are ending up on Unreal Engine, and then they all look very similar, they play very similar. That's a completely side topic, but it is also a time with optimization issues, because if you're not well versed with it, or with AI, the PSSR, it will lead into issues and optimization issues. And it's also a weirder thing too, because with there being less people running on the PS5 Pro, that means it's like less of a focal point. So you have 1 million people playing your game and only 50,000, say like 950,000 on PlayStation are playing your game. It's fine, you can optimize it for that. If 50,000 the Pro, they're going to probably notice it if it's not optimized well, and it should be, in theory, like, it's always going to be compared. It's going to be always compared to like the main one too as well. And I'm pretty disappointed so far. They had the gameplay kind of seems whatever too. The HDR is kind of bad. The performance is widely variable. Even the console versions have the Unreal Engine 5 transversal stutter and micro hitches too on the Pro. Visuals too as well. They're assuming they're using the Unreal Engine's TSR, and they're not even using the PSSR as well, so the integration is not even that good for the console itself. Like, they're trying to utilize these AIs, and it's just not being utilized. You know what I mean? Like, it's just disappointing. I don't know how to explain it better. It's just the fact that they have the chance to code this stuff, they have the chance to optimize the stuff out, and they're not using things such as, like I said, if you're not able to go and code using AI and the PSSR and all these integrations, then what's the point? If it's not going to be a consistent frame rate, and I want you to be utilizing this technology, use it so I can play the game and make it better. You know, as we're going through all these comments on top of this, people are just sad, people are just meh, and like people are still cool with it, like they're having a blast with the game, it's optimized well, whatever. But like, is it a PlayStation end issue? Is it hard to optimize on the console? Probably not. It's probably more on the devs too, but still it's an issue with the PS5 Pro nonetheless, and it just makes people a little bit on the sad end. More of like, I guess, a gossip slash more so on the game rather than the console, but you know, it is what it is. And I want to hear your thoughts and comments and everything down below too. There's a lot of people are just upset about it, you know? It's just they expect a little bit better, they expect more optimization, they expect more working with the console, even if it's not the most like ends all be all. Like, people just want it to be better. So I want to hear your thoughts. A little bit of a yap on that one too as well. But nonetheless too, don't forget we did also see that there is at least going to be some big PS5 Pro updates for games like GTA 6. So it's not like they're not working with it. And same with PlayStation games too as well. So there is still attention to it. There is going to be attention for them utilizing stuff like the PSSR and the AMD's integration, all of that. Like, it is there. But it's just not as much as we're all expecting, you know? Like, it's not completely out of the works that we're not going to have cool stuff for the PlayStation. It's completely out of the works that the PS5 Pro is going to have more updates, even for Wuchang as well. But we still kind of expect slightly better, and I'm in that same exact boat. So I want to hear your thoughts and comments down below. There also is a bunch of really cool new PlayStation 1 games coming out, like Twisted Metal, that you can play in the PS4, PS5. Just want to do a quick little note on that one, because people are excited for that. And I think it is fun to see these consoles expanding on out. But at the same time, I want everything to be running well, performing well, and utilizing the technology they have in their consoles as best as they possibly can. I want to hear your thoughts and comments on everything down below. Subscribe if you guys are new. I appreciate y'all for your patience. We'll have some better videos soon, so be on the lookout for that. I love you guys.